So welcome everyone to our BizzTalk of today. And we are going to start by introducing yourselves to one another, your name, what you do, okay, and whatever information you like to give us. Okay, so maybe we can start with you, Jorge.
Okay, so my name is George. It's the same from the last meeting. I'm not changed my name, so it's similar. I'm an enthusiast of travels, and we will discuss this today. I'm here to improve my conversation skills, and that's it.
What about you?
So, sorry.
Sorry, we miss you. We miss you. We miss you. Can you repeat?
Yes, of course, it's probably my connection. I said thank you, Jorge, and now Pedro, your turn to introduce yourself.
Okay, thank you. First of all, it's a pleasure to be with you here. Um, so, my name is Pedro. I'm what I do for a living. I'm a programmer, basically that. I also like to travel. I like to do sports and to be with my friends. Um, Well, what can I say more about me? I like to learn new things. Very recently, I learned how to do my own beer. So just a fun fact.
Interesting.
So and I'm
It's a
also,
good beer. I know it.
you know it. I don't know if it is a good one. Sometimes the beer make me walk a bit on a strange way. I don't know.
All
Okay.
right, very good. So that's a fun fact of you. And now, Alberto.
Hello, my name is Alberto Silva. I'm 40 years old. I like to travel and to work and to play with my children and um, and with my woman, my
Wife.
um, I like Portugal. I like other countries. Uh, I like beer and wine.
Okay, so one thing you all have in common. So you all like beer, and Pedro makes it. So it's the perfect combination.
Yes.
No, no, my
It's
precious, my precious. Not for you.
yeah.
All right, very good.
I'm
Okay, so let's start with our first theme because it's also consensual. Everybody likes to travel and likes to visit other countries. So, Jorge, can you start by presenting your theme?
Okay. Um, my theme for today is traveling. It's travels. It's not a natural theme for these days because the travels it's not the thing that are allowed for these days. It's not. Uh, it's not the best thing to do on COVID times. But apart of that, it's the thing uh, that I believe it's one thing that's allow us to meet other countries, to meet other peoples, to meet other cultures. It's the first thing, and it's one thing associated to our holidays. So for every days that we are on traveling, we are on pleasure time, and every person should trying to travel on his lives.
Okay, very well. So, Josh, when you travel, what is your main difficulty when you visit other countries?
Mostly it's the language. First of all, it's the language because always we try to talk the foreign countries to talk foreign languages on the natural language of this country. We try to say something similar to our natural language. So we try to translate what we are thinking, and on the first thing we have on mind. Of course, it's not the correct thing. We a lot of things on language are related with localization, and of course the main times we are not saying the correct things, and that is the main difficult thing, I think. For me, it's that.
Okay. And Pedro, what is your main difficulty when you go to another country?
We are not listening you.
Your micro is.
I'm sorry. So I
It
was
seems you
saying
are not. It seems you are not IT guy.
I'm using like a walkie-talkie. It's over. Sorry. So the main difficulty that I see when traveling, especially when we go outside of Europe, is the currency, the coin of the country.
Okay.
And this can be solved with cryptocurrency. So, but
In the
yeah,
future, I think.
in the future, maybe in a far future, I don't know. But yeah, it's one of my biggest difficulties.
Is the currency. So you have to exchange our European money into the currency of the other country, and you find that hard. How about using, for example, cards, virtual cards like Revolut, like MBWay? What do you think about that? Is it safe?
Revolut is a solution. I think is the best solution for that. And yeah, it's safe. It's safe.
Okay. All right. Alberto, when you go to another country, what is your main difficulty?
The countries I have to visit is countries with French and Portuguese language.
Okay.
So I don't have difficult, but I like to travel to countries with English languages to training the to speak with other persons.
Okay, very well. So that's a good way to practice your English. Right, Alberto? It's a good way for you to practice English?
Yes.
Okay. So one last question about traveling. What do you prefer to do when you visit other countries? For example, do you try and visit the touristic sites? Do you look for the gastronomic delicacies of the country, the food? What do you prefer doing? Or do you rather go to places that not everybody visits on a tour, for example? George, what do you think?
For the first times, I'm trying to I try to plan every travel, and try to do it from my own, trying not to do what every guys to do on these countries, because I hate I hate a lot of peoples on museums. I hate a lot of guys. I hate to wait So I'm trying to plan the things and trying to do it by myself.
Okay.
This is the first thing. Of course, I try to try the food. I trying to try the culture, and I love to meet people. I love to meet the persons who live on that countries.
Okay. Very well. And Alberto, what about you? What do you look for when you visit another country?
I like countries with sun and eat with beach.
Okay. So I'm thinking Brazil, I'm thinking the Caribbean. Yes?
Yes,
Cape
yes,
Verde.
Right.
yes.
Okay, very
This is countries to travel with my wife and for pleasure.
okay.
But I also would like to visit other countries to practice English and visit monuments.
Okay, perfect. So I have a suggestion for you all. We should all get the Biz Talkers together and go and visit London.
London.
Okay? Think about that.
Okay.
Okay, Pedro, what about you? What do you look for when you visit a new country?
I like to visit the nature of that country and also to taste the typical foods of there. I think it is my main interest. I'm a bit like George. I don't like crowded places. I don't like to go to museums and to see some rocks. I don't like that. And also I like the view of Alberto, the beaches and the sunny places and all of that.
So you like to mix the relaxing with the historical and the cultural. Yes?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, that's perfect. That would be the perfect trip for everyone. Okay, you mentioned before that when you visit another country, one of Pedro's main difficulties is the currency of the country, right? So the money that is used in that country. So Pedro has a solution for that, and he's going to tell us about it. Right, Pedro? You talked about Bitcoin. Now it's your turn to shine and tell us how we can use Bitcoin, where we can use Bitcoin, how safe it is. Tell us all about it.
Well, so the like Bitcoin, the Bitcoin was the first cryptocurrency, and it was created around 2008, I think. So at that time, the value of Bitcoin was too low. But right now, one Bitcoin worth about 50,000 euros. It's insane. But yeah, Bitcoin was the first one, is the first cryptocurrency, and right now we have several different ones that could tackle this problem, because it's insane. You travel to one country, you have a currency, then you go to another, you have another currency, you need to pay fees when you withdraw your money. It's like you have a lot of middlemen for you to do your trip and have access to your assets. So perhaps we could have a global cryptocurrency that could be used for everyone, everywhere, and it
See if
could
I
be.
understand.
Sorry.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, just to see if we all understand. If you go to another country, so Bitcoin is not universal.
It is. It is universal.
Okay.
Maybe.
You mentioned that if you go to another country, you use different currencies. Different cryptocurrencies?
No, sorry. When I was speaking about these several currencies, I was speaking about the traditional currencies like euro or another. So if we can use any cryptocurrency in any part of the world, you just need a phone and the internet to make a transaction to someone.
And then someone who accept this. Okay.
Yeah.
The thing that you use it, Daniela, the universal use of crypto moeda, it's not related to countries, it's related to companies who accept this exchange kind. Okay.
Okay.
It's not related
There's
to
nothing
countries.
physical. There's not a card. There's nothing physical about Bitcoin. Is that it?
It's that it. It's not. It's
Yeah,
you have a card to exchange it on some stores.
it's not a tangible asset. You cannot touch it. It's not like money. But right now, you
It's
also
like money because at
digital
this
money.
moment traditional money you cannot touch the money that you have at this moment on your bank account. So it's similar. It's you can exchange it. So where is money at this moment?
Okay. Alberto, what do you think about all of this? What you've heard about Bitcoin? Would you use Bitcoin?
No, I don't know, and I don't have any opinion.
Okay. So, Pedro, you will have to persuade
But my
Alberto
suggestion-
to use.
Okay, I can give you an example. So imagine that you have a business and you sales. Imagine that you have a restaurant and your customers like too much like a lot to execute digital payments using an ATM terminal. For your side, on your perspective, you need to pay a fee on every transaction. Let's say 2% of the sale. At the end of the year is a lot of money, but if you could use cryptocurrency, you will pay just a small fee on every transaction. So and somehow you will cut the middleman. The middleman here is the terminal and the company that is behind the terminal. And so if you cut these middlemen, you can save some money. Just an example. I can give you another. Right now we have another cryptocurrency which is named Cardano. Is another one. We have more than 2,000 different projects that is making some deals with Africa to implement a, how can I say, an identity system. Like here at Portugal, we have the Cartão de Cidadão, but there they have nothing. So they can use these technologies to create these kind of solutions. And this poor
Basically,
countries.
the most of the people at this moment are seeing these cryptocurrencies as an alternative way to use it as an exchange coin to do the traditional things and exchange this coin with uh,
For
these for products or services. Okay,
service.
my point of view related to these cryptocurrencies is related with the vision uh, behind these cryptocurrencies. Every crypto coin has a project behind of this, okay? And you need to believe on these projects, the vision of the guys who created this to give the value to this currency, okay? The currency, it's the value of the currency is related to the project. Basically, mainly it's IT projects and things related to blockchain, and we can discuss this on another conversation. Uh, and the vision behind of this, it's who gives the value to this crypto, okay? And if you are interested on this, if you are a crypto lover, okay, you need to know the vision behind these projects, not just the value of the coin and the money you can have with these assets that you have in hands. Okay. And for the future, of course, you have now a lot of currencies starting, and Pedro know it, with a low value. And if you know, study, and believe on this vision of these projects, you can invest on this to have a lot of value on the future.
Okay, for me, I'm like Alberto. I'm a little skeptic about the crypto coin. Alberto, say your justice. If what you heard from Pedro and from Jorge, do you still have the same idea?
I need to know better the concept. It's not clear for me.
Okay. I'm with you. I'm Team Alberto. True. All right.
But you should starting to interest on these themes, okay? Because I believe this is the future. Okay. So you can start to study this.
Just a fun fact. A year ago, one Bitcoin was worth around 3,000 euros due to the COVID start and so on. And right now is like 50,000 euros. It
I have
just
another fun fact. I know Pedro because I work. Oh yeah, right away. I work with Pedro 4 years ago, I think, and I worked with Alberto last year. So I know both of these guys.
Okay.
But fun fact, when when I'm working with Pedro, Bitcoin is worth I think less than 1,000 euro, and Pedro starting to tell me this. You need to starting to study this. You need to believe on this. And I'm as financial guy. I say I'm skeptic with this. I don't believe it. Pedro invested on Bitcoin, and I was not investing on Bitcoin on that time. Pedro won a lot of money with Bitcoin, and I'm just drinking the beer with Pedro.
Okay, so that was a bad decision, Jorge.
Basically, this to conclude, you should believe on this because this is really the future. Okay.
Okay, so we are going to have a session only on Bitcoin
Bitcoin
and
and blockchain.
Bitcoin. Pedro will be our guest,
Yeah.
okay, to speak about it to everybody who wants to know anything about Bitcoin,
I
myself included.
I will be there. I will be there to
Okay.
listen. Okay.
Okay, so it's an invitation, Pedro, okay, for a further biz talk later on.
okay.
Okay, so we were talking about buying and selling and products and services, and this is what Alberto wants to talk to us about. Right, Alberto? You want to know or you want to talk about providing or presenting a product, right? Am I right?
Yes, the product of the company.
Okay, so tell us about your product.
My name is Albert Silva from DivMac Company. We make electrical test machines, automobile, and aeronautic industry. These machines can help the enterprise to control the quality of the final product, also to detect components to assure the correct assembly. DivMac is present in several countries in the world, as Spain, France, Germany, Morocco, and Tunisia.
Okay.
If you have any project, please let us to analyze and to send our best quotation. Let us to waive the opportunity.
Okay, that was a very good presentation, Alberto. Well done. You prepared very good for that. So, Pedro, would you buy the product from Alberto? He just presented.
How can I say no? I might.
That's true. That's true. He did a very good characteristic of the product and what is it for. Okay, Josh, how about you? Did you buy a product from Alberto?
I know it from inside
Okay.
because I work with Alberto. Of
Okay.
course, this presentation it's a beginning of it's a start to presenting DivMac because at this moment DivMac it's a lot of things and we can explain and Alberto should have a lot of meetings with a lot of customers to present with a little more details what DivMac do it. Of course, this presentation it was difficult to present technical products. It's difficult to present it to someone who talks a little bit more English than us. Yeah, but I understand Albert when he says he has some difficulties to present this because, as you say, Albert has this well prepared, but of course, with the more details and with someone who is more prepared to ask some things, it's difficult to present products with a lot of technical issues inside of it.
Exactly.
And I understand why he bring this subject to this conversation today.
Okay, can I give you some tips, Alberto, on presenting your product?
This presentation is an resume because the is not real. But if real, um, should we have another details,
Okay. So
technical details?
let me help you with one thing. For example, if you go and show your product to someone, and this could be for Alberto and for Pedro, who also could sell his beer, and for Jorge, who sells something else. Okay? So when you go to show off your product, okay, you have to create on the customer, and this you guys know better than me because I work with translation and I work with English, and you are all on the financial enterprises, companies, so you work on the other side, okay? So when you go and present your product, first of all, you should create a demand. That means that the client needs to want your product or to need it. So that's creating demand. When you create a demand, you sell, okay? You sell a product, but if you're selling, for example, George wants to sell his know-how, he's not going to sell it. He's going to provide it, okay? So it's different when you are selling a product, you are selling the product itself. It's touchable, okay? But when you are selling a service, for example, like Jorge, you are not selling that service. You are providing, okay? So we use fixed verbs when we talk about sell, okay?
Okay.
You sell something that you touch, but you provide a service, okay? Your know-how, what you do, when you tell a person how to do something. So that's know-how, that's providing a service, okay? And for example, I heard you talk about all the characteristics of the product, right, Alberto? And how good it is, and everyone should buy from the MAC. But for example, you should talk to your customer or to the client who is going to buy or to acquire a service or a product. you should talk, for example, about the warranties for them. Okay, so for example, talk about how long do you provide maintenance or technical support. Okay, not only how good the product is, but what can you do for the customer itself. Okay, another thing, difference between customer and client. Who knows?
I don't know it. For me, it's the same.
Exactly, but it's not. They both buy, right? Okay, but again, the customer buys a product, okay? Buys something that you touch, buys a pen, buys a phone, buys a computer, okay? So that's a customer. They buy the products that Alberto is going to sell, the machinery, right?
Okay.
But a client buys a service.
Okay.
For example, imagine that Alberto sells technical support, or he provides technical support of machines that he didn't sell. Okay, so for him, that is not a customer, that is a client.
Okay.
Okay,
But
so
if his proposal is selling product and service, he should distinguish both terms, or he can use it.
no, in that case, he can choose what he wants to call his client or his customer.
It's indifferent.
Indifferent in that case, yes. If selling a product means that technical support goes with him, okay, the technical support only goes because he sold the product. So in that case, I would say he's my customer.
Okay.
Okay, because you only sell the service because you sold the product.
Okay. Good.
So those are a few tips. Okay, what more is important when you are selling a product? Pedro, what do you think is important? Think about your beer. What is important about selling it?
The most important thing is to believe on the product, even if the product doesn't isn't so good. But we need to believe on what we are selling. I think is the best thing.
Okay. So if you believe, for sure you are going to have passion from what you are selling, and the customer or the client is going to buy it.
Exactly. If I don't believe on the product, how can I create the necessary engagement for the client to buy the thing? It's not possible.
That's good advice. Very well. George, what do you think? What else do we need?
The principal thing, it's just like Pedro said, it's to create a connection with the customer, client, the connection with this product. Okay, the first thing to create this connection is to believe. You need to believe in what you are selling. If you don't believe on that, you cannot be able to create this connection with the customer. The second thing it was the relation. You need to have empathy. You need to have you need to be related to the customer, to understand what the customer needs, the needs of the customer to trying. Because if you are trying to sell beer to a guy who loves wine, who how much you love beer and your product, you cannot sell with this to the guy who don't want the beer. So you need to understand the needs of the customer to sell it. Of course, you need to have this connection with your product, with your service, but you need to understand what you are selling, to who, when, what. A lot of questions that you
need it. You create the need for him, right?
Sometimes it's not possible. It's easier if you have this, of course, a professional on these commercial tasks are we able. Sorry, it's not the commercial guy. The person who wants or who have the task to create the needs. It's not the commercial guy. It's the marketing guy. the
Right.
commercial guy should sell to someone who has these needs identified. Okay,
Okay. So
with
let's ask Alberto something. I'm sorry, Jorge,
sorry.
about the marketing. Okay. So Alberto, your product, are you a seller? You are the commercial guy for your company?
I,
You
repeat,
are the person who connects with the client.
the person.
Are you the person who is in contact with the customer or the client to sell the product?
Yes.
Okay. Do you consider the marketing and the publicity to be important before you go and you sell your product?
Yes, is important if to have good publicity of the product and appellative word. And
Okay. All right. So maybe the label, the image, all of that is important to sell the product.
yes,
Okay.
yes, and if a photo with a beautiful person as George is perfect.
Okay. John,
Thank you.
you are hired to be the model of the Mac.
Yeah.
Okay. Alberto just hired you.
Thank you, Albert. Thank you.
So, Pedro, I'm curious about one thing. Does your beer have a name?
No, not yet.
Okay.
I know it. I know it. One name to the Pedro beers. It's empty bottles.
Empty bottle, it sounds like a good name. Okay. Give me
Yeah.
that empty bottle. No, if it's full, I'll
Full.
empty it
Yeah.
myself. Okay, guys, this was a very good conversation. I learned from you, and I hope you enjoyed it as well. To finish our biz talk, I'm going to give you a few tips on some not so accurate English structures that you used. Okay, so I'm not going to name anyone in particular, but I'm going to say some things that sounded like a mistake, and I will give you feedback on how to do it correctly. Okay,
Please just be kind with us.
I am. I always am kind. Okay, so I realized that some of you, when you use a subject that is singular, so one, and then you use the verb in the plural. For example, the thing that are. A thing is only one, and are is for whatever is plural. Okay, so here should be the thing that is called. Okay. For example, we don't meet countries, okay? We go there, we meet the people, okay? But we visit the countries, we taste the food, okay? We visit places, but we don't meet the country in itself. The word everydays, I don't know who said it, but the word everydays doesn't need to be in the plural because every day is already plural, okay? It's every, for example, it's more than one, okay? In your discourse, and this was general, you say the word or the expression a lot. You say it many times, okay? So I will tell you now two different ways that you can use, two different words that you can use instead of using a lot, okay? You can use many, and you use many for things that you can count. For example, many pens, many bicycles, many places, which you see, one place, two place, three places, okay? Or you can use much. Much you use, for example, with things that are not countable, like For example, feelings. Okay, you don't say to someone, "I love you very many." No, you say, "I love you very much," because it's an intensity. Okay, so many for things that you can count, much for things that you don't count but you feel, you intense. Okay. Okay, verbs that you used, for example, training. Some of you said to training. When you use the to before a verb, you always use the infinitive after, okay? Knowing, unless it's an activity, but in this case it was training from treinar and not training from an activity instead. Something else, let me see. Oh, okay. Plural again versus singular, but with the noun. We don't use the word persons, okay? Because we say one person, but we say 2, 3, 4 people, okay? The word persons can be used, but in a particular way when you are talking about different individuals in different situations, okay? But if you're talking about a whole, you say one, I see one person, but if there's two, I see two people, okay? Modal verbs. I see that some of you use the should, the must, okay? These are called, this is a grammar term, but they are called modal verbs. So with these kinds of verbs, the should, the may, the must, you always use the next verb in the infinitive. For example, you should say, should start instead of what one of you said, should starting. Okay? And, oh, this one I know. Jorge, you talked about working with Pedro 4 years ago, right? But when you were expressing what happened 4 years ago, you were using your verbs in the present. Okay, so in this case, you should always refer to past. For example, you said, I am working with Pedro, but you were referring to 4 years ago. So you should have said, I was working with Pedro, or I had worked with Pedro. Okay, so refer to the past. And I think that's it for now. Okay?
Okay.
I hope it was helpful for you.
Yes, of course. Thank you, Daniela.
No, thank you. This, it was recorded and it will be online soon, okay? If you want to go and check it out, listen to it, okay? And if you want to talk later on about any other theme, you should register again to our next BizzTalks that are going to happen in still this month, in May, June, whatever. Okay, so you can register again. And if you're interested in a much deeper theme, for example, we are going to have a business English course coming up. So this will be only referring to business, as in products, as in negotiation, as in labeling, as in branding, as in marketing. So all about business, okay? If you are interested, we will have news for you very soon. Okay? It was very good having you. Thank you so
Follow the
much.
social networks from BizzTalk.
Yes, follow our social networks because we always have news for you almost every day. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, guys. It's a pleasure to see you again.
Thank you. It was a really nice session.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right.
Bye.
Goodbye. See you
Goodbye.
both very soon, all of you. Goodbye, Alberto. Bye, Pedro. Bye, Jorge.